Welcome back to the class on Human Resources Management. My name is Aradhana Malik and I'll be helping you with this course. So, since the time has been reduced, let's move on. We were talking about pay systems. Let us discuss pay and reward systems today. I will not spend any time on revising. These are the sources that we will be that I've used for these lectures. For this lecture specifically, Cascio, the book by Cascio and the book by Gomez, Mejia and Balkin. We talked a little bit about the trust gap and why employees don't tend to trust their organizations or their employers. Why is there this gap in the why do employees feel that they are not being treated fairly? There could be disparity in incentives between top management, middle management and frontline workers. People may not feel comfortable with the way they are being treated, and the salaries may be too much. Top management may be paid too much and middle management may not be paid so much. So that is the that is why people may not trust the organization. Dwindling confidence in the competence of top management. People may not trust their seniors so much. So that might be a reason. Some challenges that are posed by the trust gap. Why do we not trust our seniors and how this can affect our work? We feel that we are being treated, by we I mean employees. Employees may feel that they are being treated unfairly and they may try to come up with their own reasons which may or may not be true. There could be predictable consequences of trust gap in terms of lack of commitment from the employees, and it could be very difficult to design strategies to deal with this trust gap, especially if whatever we are doing is not convincing enough for our employees. So, some challenges that are posed by the trust gap. Now, how are philosophies regarding pay systems changing? Organizations are increasingly willing to reduce the size of the workforce, and they are increasingly becoming more and more accepting of having fewer people do a large number of things. The need to employ large numbers of people is not there so much as it was in the previous days, in earlier days, sorry. And there is more pressure to control the costs of wages, to control the compensation. Again, we are talking about compensation. There is an increased pressure to control how much money the organization is spending on the employees, on running of the organization, etc. There is less concern with pay position relative to that of competitors. Why? Because there are so many organizations that are there and there are so many employees, so many people, not employees, but so many people who can do what the organization needs done, that it's not their concern to offer a large amount of money to the employees. So they say, okay, we'll give you this much, take it or leave it, and there are so many people who don't have jobs that the company says this is all I can afford, and if you don't want to work with me, fine, go find another job. So there's less concern with what the company should pay. There's more emphasis on what the company can afford to maximize its profits. And then the implementation of programs to encourage and reward performance. They say if you can do your work well, we'll give you more than you expect. So there is variable pay, there is this concept of variable pay, and the fairness comes in terms of the output of different employees. It's not what the other person is getting, what you are doing that should get you this money. So there is enhanced emphasis on or increased pressure on employees to prove their worth now more than ever before, okay, and that leads to a need for variable pay and more acceptance of the variable pay. How are the salary administration systems changing? Salary administration systems are employing cost containment sections that try and understand. Cost containment means to reduce or to arrest further costs to the organization. You limit how much, or you put a slab on how much the organization can spend or should spend on certain things. So one is organizations are increasingly trying to understand economic and legal factors that determine pay levels. They are increasingly trying to figure out how the law deals with or what the law prescribes for how much organizations should pay to their employees, and what the industry wants them to, or how the markets need them to pay their employees. They are also trying to tie compensation strategy to general business strategy, which is what I talked about in the previous lecture. Alignment of your business plan with your compensation plan. What should you do to enhance commitment from your employees and to also make profits? So this is a very delicate balance that needs to be achieved. Address key policy issues, develop systematic pay structures. If the pay structure is systematic and robust, it cannot be challenged, it will be sustainable, and that is what the organizations are going towards. Paying what the company can afford, programs that encourage and reward performance. So you shouldn't be paying less than what you can afford, and you should also not go overboard and say we'll look after our employees no matter what. That can result in further problems. So they are also trying to implement programs that encourage and reward performance. Okay, then some components and objectives of organizational reward systems. How do organizations reward their employees? Rewards include anything an employee values and desires that an employer is able and willing to offer in exchange for employee contributions. Not the regular basic minimum work that you get a salary for, but anything that the company considers valuable that the company in most cases does not expect of you, within the regular job description. So if the employee is contributing more, then the employee gets more. And some types of reward systems that are there are financial. You get salaries. Salaries are not rewards, actually. You have the variable pay and indirect rewards, and which are the benefits. Some non-financial rewards are the protection programs. So if you make a genuine mistake in your say line of duty, or if you have a problem in the line of duty, then the organization takes care of you legally, financially, takes care of your health needs, etc. Employee engagement in decision making. If you are doing better than especially better than the organization needs you to do, then they may involve you in decision making at different levels. Some organizations anyway do it as part of their policy, but increasingly organizations are realizing that employees feel valued if their opinions are also taken, and so they select the employees whose opinions they want to take. And then we have effective supervision, and that is a non-financial reward. So the supervision helps you, your supervisors give you feedback on how to improve your performance, and that is very subjective. And recognition in terms of what you do, and then communication of this recognition throughout the organization. Training opportunities. You do something well and you say I want to learn X, and the organization says okay, go. Okay, so they'll fund your travel, they'll fund your stay, they'll fund your need to learn more, so you can come back and keep contributing to the organization. And supportive, nurturing organizational culture. I can't emphasize on this enough. This is the single most important thing in running an organization smoothly. We are all human beings. I will stress upon this again and again. You and I are human beings. We do not want to be treated like machines. We should not be treating anyone else like a machine. So what do we need? We need an organization that treats us like human beings, and that is why I love my IIT. I'm going to say that. One big family. You make a mistake, you're given an opportunity to rectify it. You make a mistake, and unless you repeat the same mistake again and again and again, it's taken in its stride. Okay, and you're given an opportunity to grow. You say I want to learn X, and they don't start, the administration doesn't start by saying prove it, prove that you want to learn something. You want to learn something, okay, go. We'll trust that you will learn something new and you will come back and you will contribute to the organization. It's not the other way around. A lot of people will question you, why should I spend so much money? What is the guarantee that you will learn something? That doesn't happen in my organization. I say I want to learn something, and my seniors say, oh great, you want to learn, what do you want to learn, how can we help? Now the minute somebody says that, your commitment, you start bonding with the organization and you feel you're being nurtured. So you feel guilty about betraying their trust. You just cannot not learn. You say I want to learn, and they say great, what can I do to help? What can I do to help you grow? what can I do to help you learn what you want to learn? And the minute they say it, you say, oh my God, I should not take their faith for granted. I need to be able to live up to the expectations they have from me. So what do? You go above and beyond whatever is being expected of you. You come back armed with all this and you say, may I experiment it? And they say, oh great, yeah, where? What can we do to help? What can we do to facilitate your experimentation? Again, pressure comes back on you. How am I going to prove that whatever I've learned has been worthwhile and will contribute to the organization? Because the organization is trusting me so much. The minute you trust your employees, they will do everything in their capacity to make sure that your organization rises, that they do not betray your trust. And that is the basic fundamental pillar that human resources management rests on. Trust your employees, nurture them, be supportive of them, and the chances of them becoming deviant, the chances of them not doing what is expected of them, the chances of them being unproductive go down drastically. Okay, so that is what we mean by a supportive, nurturing organizational culture. Okay, alternatives to pay systems based on job evaluation. So, one is job evaluation, how much output there is. The other alternative is market-based pay. So, there is a direct market pricing approach for all of the firm's job. We compare and we see what similar jobs in other organizations are being paid, and we have the same compensation structure. Competency-based pay. Workers are paid not on the basis of the job they currently are doing, but rather on the basis of the number of jobs they are capable of doing. Okay, it's not what I'm doing now, it is what the organization perceives I can do. So they say, given an opportunity, X will do A, B and C. X could also do D, E and F. So let us pay them this much, so that today we don't need them to do so many things, but tomorrow if I need this person to maybe do job E instead of job A and B, the person has the capacity to do it. Somebody else doesn't, but this person does. So let me compensate them for what they can do in future, okay, for their ability. And this rests on a supportive human resources management philosophy. Okay, you have to want to support your employees, otherwise this will not run. The other is profit sharing and participative management. We need to take the opinions of our employees into account when we design policies, when we design programs, when we design, maybe not so much with the ultimate vision, mission, goals, objectives of the organization, but how the organization runs has to depend largely on what employees say and feel about what they are doing, and when they give you feedback, please take it seriously, and that will in turn help them bond with the organization. Okay, and then of course profit sharing. So if you make a profit, share a little bit with them, give them a bonus, give them an added benefit, and you'll see how close they become to you. So they feel that since they are competent, they are doing their worth, whatever is expected of them, they are being rewarded. Okay, job enrichment deals with enhancing opportunities within the job for the employee to grow. So you say that whatever you're doing can be done in X, Y, Z way, and you increase the involvement of the employee in the same job by either increasing the scope or complexity, or doing whatever you can to help the employee enjoy the job more. Okay, frequent changes in technology and organization structure. Again, this could be one big factor in determining competency based pay. So when we talk about technology changing, unless the person is adaptable to new technologies, or if the organizational structure changes from a hierarchical structure to a team based flatter structure, if the organization is capable, they may not be able to function. But that again goes into deciding how you reward employees for their competence. Employee exchanges, rotation and transfers help you understand whether employees can function in other departments, in other roles or not. Learning opportunities are there. High employee turnover again a function of or decides the competency based pay. It is a it determines the competency based pay, because you want people to immediately start contributing when they come in. So you can't have fresh training programs for newer employees all the time. They need to come with a certain set of skills that can be adapted. So the need for again, if too many employees are moving out, then you may decide to compensate them for what they bring to the table, and not so much for how long they have been in the organization or what they have been doing in the past. Value for teamwork and opportunity to participate is another factor in deciding competency based pay. Okay, some policies in pay planning and administration. One is pay secrecy. We discussed about this a little bit in a lecture, a couple of lectures ago. Pay secrecy is the disclosure or non-disclosure, the decision to disclose or not disclose the salary that one employee is getting to another employee. Now, this is based on work and business related rationale on which the system is based. Pay ranges, pay increase schedules, availability of pay related data from the compensation department. It forces managers to defend their pay decisions and practices publicly. So, when we talk about pay secrecy, we say we will not disclose it, but then it forces us to if we are secretive, then more and more people will want to know why we are secretive, and it forces us to become more systematic in the way we maintain our pay records, so that if we are questioned someday, then we have a clear cut response. The cost of mistaken pay decision escalates, since all the system's inconsistencies and weaknesses become visible once the cloak of secrecy is lifted. Pay secrecy comes with a big challenge, a big problem. You say, okay, I will not disclose my pay, and no, I don't want employees to know what the others are earning, and so people start thinking, something must be wrong for the organization to keep its salary structure secret. What is wrong? What is going on? And then once the secrecy is lifted, then people have more opportunities to point a finger at you and say, hey, this is what you did wrong and that's what you did wrong. So that becomes a big problem. Open pay might induce some managers to reduce differences in pay among subordinates in order to avoid conflict and the need to explain such differences to disappointed employees. Open pay system comes with its own challenges, and one big challenge is that everybody starts comparing herself or himself to others. Now, a lot of time pay decisions are made in a very subjective manner, and that is where the problem comes in. If the decision has been made in a subjective manner, then the ability to defend what one has given to one employee and not given to the other employee becomes suspect and can result in conflict or can lead to conflict between employees. Another policy issue in determining pay systems is the effect of inflation. How do we determine pay systems? How does inflation affect our pay systems? How do we adjust our pay systems to inflation? Now, in government organizations, we have this concept of dearness allowance. We have a concept, so that is what takes care of the annual inflation or periodic inflation in that just reminds us that okay, we are aware that things are becoming more expensive, and this is how we are going to compensate you for your, we'll try and make sure, we will try our best to ensure that your purchasing power remains similar, and is not affected because of inflation. So we have something called as a dearness allowance to take care of that. We have pay compression. Pay compression refers to the narrowing of the ratios of pay between jobs or pay grades in a firm's pay structure. This is a slightly complicated concept, so I will explain this to you in a little bit of detail. Now, the pay grades are sometimes they are very, the ranges differ from one another in various ways. So there is a jump from, say, the level of assistant professor to associate professor. Now, when we talk about within the pay range for assistant professors is clearly defined, and to move from say an assistant professor who joined 2 years ago, the salary this person gets to the salary of an assistant professor who joined maybe 1 year ago is not too much, but there is a significant amount of difference in the salary structure of an assistant professor and an associate professor. Now, this gap between these two grades is sometimes reduced so that people don't feel, they feel it's easier to progress from one rank to another. They feel that the trust gap is reduced as a result of compressing these pay grades. So, you start paying people higher sometimes just to adjust for differences between different types of employees. The range is increased, but the difference between the grades is reduced. So, a senior assistant professor, for example, may not be earning something very significantly different from a junior associate professor, but within the range of pay that is given to assistant professors, the senior most assistant professor could be earning significantly different, the salary of the senior most assistant professor could be significantly different from the salary of the junior most assistant professor. So, the range is large, but the grades have been compressed, and the progression seems smoother. Now, how do you do this? You have higher starting salaries for new hires, which lead long term employees to see only a slight difference between their current pay and that of new hires. Now, this can this is one big problem. You have higher starting salaries, so that this is compressed, but then people see, people who are already in the organization see this as a problem and unfair. Hourly pay increases for unionized employees that exceed those of salaried and non-union employees. So, pay compression can also be effected by increasing the hourly pay for unionized employees. So, but unfortunately, when we say unionized employees, they are sometimes the people who put a lot more pressure on the organization to compress the salaries. Now, people who have salaries cannot be given an hourly pay raise, but people who don't have salaries, people who are on contract, who are hourly wagers, can be given a little bit more money, so that the disparity between their salary and the salary of a salaried, the money they get and the salary of a salaried person is not too much. So, they are putting in the same amount of work and they are getting paid by the hour, and somebody else is putting the same amount of work but is getting paid every month. And so, they say, okay, we are putting in so much work, why is there a disparity? To reduce this disparity, you increase their hourly wage, but you don't change the salaries of the other employees. Recruitment of new college graduates for management or professional jobs at salaries above those of current job holders is another way to reduce this gap. Excessive overtime payments to some employees, or payment of different overtime rates. You work on a weekend, you get extra money, you work over after hours, you get extra money, and that is one way of reducing this pay disparity. So, that is one needs to keep these things into account and then decide whether one wants to compress the pay structure or not. Pay raises are dependent on merit charts, what we call as merit charts, and merit charts are tools that help us decide who is worth what to the organization, what is one bringing to the table, and where does one stand in terms of what the organization expects of her or him. And so, how meritorious one is, how capable one is in terms of output within that organization. It is not dependent on the number of gold medals you have or what you came to the organization with. It is dependent on what you did once you entered the organization. Performance incentives. Incentives are additional benefits we give to people who perform better than what is expected. Some requirements of performance incentives are: one is simplicity. They need to be, people need to understand what they need to do in order to earn an incentive. They need to be specific, they need to be attainable, and they need to be quantifiable and measurable. Some incentives that we can give to executives are, when we talk about incentives for executives, we need to keep a few things in mind. why use long term incentive plans for should we use long term incentive plans for senior executives? If yes, why should we do it? Here are the reasons. Short term incentives are indicative of and a result of short term productivity. So, senior executives do something, the results of which become visible only after a certain period of time, and their so they get their incentives after a longer period of time. Long term plans encourage stability for senior management. You know you are going to get an incentive after 2 or 3 or 4 years, and after that you know you so you work towards that goal. Development of new processes, plants and products that open new markets and restore old ones. So, long term plans encourage the setting up of new ventures. Long term plans help design strategic gains rather than short term contribution to profits. The short term incentives are short lived. So, long term plans encourage the integration with strategy. Long term plans also encourage ownership of processes and results. I started process A and I am going to take it to its final conclusion. So, that is what incentives are. Now, we will look at the detail of these incentives and reward plans in the next class, but for this class, this is all I have for you at this point, and we will take it from here in the next class. And thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to post your questions on the forum that has been provided for the purpose. Thank you. I will see you in the next class.